screens, it's a plot to drop the IQ. Fighting amongst each other over rumors that don't like you. Prefer us trapped in melancholy with the wood ones of holly. Suggestions that obliterate to camouflage the folly. Attempted mental robbery, executed sloppily. Hypocrisy, this mockery, and walk the talk with me. Put the hands up to touch the Akasha, cause you know deep down there's something bigger than your wallet.
Sweet eternal balance of all that is good, true, and beautiful, friends. Tonight on Rogue Ways, we have a true pioneer in the field of bioacoustic biology, whose work has been substantiated by various universities and military labs. At a young age, she discovered her unique abilities to hear beyond the normal human range and use sound to influence the body's energy, and now uses the human voice to assess and promote health through sound frequencies. She will share her voice analysis tools with you for free to decode patterns within used for health assessment and therapy. The visionary, the healer, the founder of Sound Health Solutions, and the bridge between spirit and science, Sharry Edwards. Welcome to Rogue Ways, and how are you doing tonight?
What an awesome introduction. I'm doing great.
I'm so glad. I like to try to make people feel as good as they actually are when they come on Rogue Ways, so I'm glad you enjoyed it. And I want to say to my beautiful audience out there, thank you for checking out my books, my one-on-one spiritual and healing sessions, my powerful orgone accumulators, and more at rogueways.org, and for becoming a free or paid subscriber on rogueways.substack.com in order to get channeled messages as they come through. Thank you for being here and for being you. And Sharry, I always start with a pointless question of the episode. And since we're talking about sound, but in a very different way today, I wanted to ask you, what are your favorite things to listen to as far as music or genres or anything like that?
Silence.
Ooh,
and all the
I
things
like
that
that.
go into my environment. People have a sound coming out of their ear. They used to call it a signature sound. Now they call it otoacoustic emission. It sounds like high-pitched angels off in a distance. And some people call that tinnitus, but if they listen to it, it takes them into the very depth of their being, and it gives them the perfect sound that they need all the time. They never need anything I'm doing. If they can listen to that sound, they can heal themselves and program themselves. So it's on our websites under If You Can Moan, You Can Tone. And it teaches people to go into that inner space and listen to their own soul sounds.
Whew, I got chills while you're talking about that. A, the answer of silence is so perfect for that question. And B, tinnitus is just looked at as a negative thing, but I always have this feeling, I've never thought this about tinnitus, but I always have this feeling like everything serves some kind of purpose. Nothing is just here to break you down or make things harder or make your life worse. If your body's having a symptom, it's because it's trying to heal itself. So it makes sense that tinnitus would have some sort of a purpose. Are you saying you can also hear that sound? Because I know we're going to get into some gifts that you have personally, or are you saying that this is just individual and everyone has it and they can come in and listen to it?
I think it must be the sound that I'm hearing, although they've never really proven why my ears are mutated. They know why my voice is mutated and why it can sing pure tones, which usually people can't. But usually there's a sound in people's ears that they can listen to. In my case, they don't know, they think that it's a long lost, I don't know what you call it, not a vessel, a long lost piece of my ear called a sacculus. And it's something that dolphins have, but humans usually don't have their sacculus activated. Mine is activated. So I hear sounds from the computer, from food, from animals. The only thing I don't hear sounds from is plastic.
Oh, wow. So why plastic, do you know? There's so many questions I have now just based on what you just said, but let's start there. Why do you think plastic has no sound?
I think it's because it's dead and it doesn't have any life form. Like turtles are just slow. Rocks are slow.
Yeah.
Flowers, plants are slow. There's all different kinds of people and what their sound is. And it is expressed through their voice. What people can hear, they can express through their voice. And that's just Alfred Tomas's work. And I learned a lot from him. He's dead now, but his work really helped a lot of autistic kids in getting them back online with what was going on in the world.
Can you say his name again? It blotched out for me.
Alfred Tomatis, Tomatis, I think.
Ah,
One of
so
our
that
practitioners did a study about what we do and what his sounds do. And there's a high correlation. The sounds that are missing from your ears, which is what he's dealing with, also are missing from your voice. Just a different way to look at it through the voice. You could look at through the eyes or what you can touch or think. There's so many ways to look at the frequencies of the body.
Oh, that makes so much sense when you're saying it that way, right? This is the I can't remember the name of the modality that addresses, is it iridology or something that looks at the iris and can kind of address your whole health. And so you're saying we can also do this through listening to someone's voice. He was doing it through what were people able to hear and not hear. And so this is just one more modality. It makes so much sense. We are energetic beings after all, and everything we're interacting with is, well, except plastic, really, you know.
It's just kind of dead. Some people do it with reading what's in your hair. Some people do it with saliva, x-rays, MRIs. We just found a way to do it through people's voice, which makes it very easy.
It makes it very easy. It's non-invasive. It's interesting too, and maybe we can get into this now or later in the show, but I just have noticed over time how many people have a blockage in their throat chakra. And I don't know if you go into chakras or not, but, you know, in that area at least, and their voice is impacted, and it comes across in their behavior, right? What they're willing to say out loud or not, what they suppress or not. But also if you were to ask them to just, you know, chant a sound or just say this thing, it's like very terrifying. And it just feels like I can't do that. Like the sound can't come out. And this seems like a global problem actually for me. What do you have to say about that?
I think the chakras are not energy points, for me anyway. They are points where a lot of energy can come and go, and it's not stopped in any way. And where people make their mistake with chakras is left and right brain people have their chakras reversed. And if you consider Robert Kennedy, we did his voice and found out it's acetylcholinesterase, I think is the biochemical that he has genetically missing. And so we've been in touch with some of his people about allowing us to help him get his voice back.
Oh, wow. That would be so amazing. Yeah. If anybody's familiar with his voice, it sounds very strange. And there's some medical reason that he has for this, something that happened to him. But you're saying this one, and that's how specific you can get with this, is this specific chemical or nutrient you can narrow it down to just based on voice samples.
Yeah, that was published in Masters of Health magazine last year sometime, so they can read the whole article about him and what we did. But we do two different things. We do personality, and we also do biochemistry and what's going on with the body by way of its health and wellness or lack of wellness.
Wow. Yeah, so this can get very specific and probably transform people's lives very quickly. Do you find that people who come to you or doctors who are trained in this method, I know there's some others, that they have their lives change very quickly?
Yes, I can give you some really good examples. With a little girl that couldn't read, and we were able to find out that she could not use the color of orange. And so we gave her the color of orange, and she could read fine, but she was only seeing part of the letters and numbers. And then we have another guy, it took about 5 minutes to do that. We had another guy who had emphysema really early on, and it took us about 3 years before he could do without the sounds, but he used them anyway because he was afraid that the emphysema was going to come back. So it just depends on, everything's individual with people's voice and how long they need the sounds and what's going on with it, what octave it is. And it's not really the sound, it's the distance between the sounds that's causing the healing. And I don't know how the body's doing that. We just know it's happening.
Can
We
you
had
explain a little bit more about the distance between the sounds, what that means?
Boy, that is hard to explain. We had a guy in that they had been treating him for about 11 years for Parkinson's, and the voice comes up and peaks, and it has kind of waves in it. And the distance between the top of those waves is one of the things we measure. And in his case, they were treating him for Parkinson's and dopamine receptors. But the peaks in his voice said he really had stiff man syndrome, same similar kind of signals or complaints with the muscles, but you treat it very differently in conventional medicine. And you use glycine and how the glycine works to keep the muscles strengthened. So we were able to give him the frequencies in between by giving him the sounds, and then the body filled in what was supposed to be in between. And I haven't heard from him in about a month or so. So I hope he's doing well. Other people who we've been able to help are doing well that way.
Yeah, I hope the lack of contact is a good thing. Because I'm doing so good, I don't need you anymore.
Yes, we want people to learn to hate their sounds. I'll tell you a really good one. An attorney who had a motorcycle accident and really crushed his legs. We've been working for him about 10 years and gave him the frequencies of his peroneus muscles in his legs. And he's back to playing tennis and doing whatever he wants. And it took away all of his pain. And for about 2 years, he used the sounds, and then he didn't need them anymore.
Wow.
So
yeah, I think I saw him on the video you had shared with me that I took a little glance at there. It's on Vimeo. It'll be in the links below for anyone who wants to watch and see his testimony. There's some testimonies, some pretty powerful shifts in life. And you're saying this can be, emotional, psychological, physical, kind of anything? Can it be anything? Any request?
No, magnetic. What we want, though, is to help people use this for themselves. We get them started, and we have a workstation, a public workstation, where they can take the apprentice class for free. We give them free software to use, a nutrition and a muscle, and they can do this on their own. We can't help everybody. There's just not enough of us. We'd like to train more people. We'd like to have more classes and trainings. We'd like to set up a bioacoustic center in every community. That's my rose-colored wish.
Yeah, well, it's a beautiful wish. I love that your goal is to empower people too. And I have a similar sort of goal as you in the work that I do, although it's very different. My goal is you don't need me anymore. Like ideally you're done at some point, you're fully good in your own, and maybe you're even out doing your own type of work and healing with others. Then if we're all doing that, the world is a perfect place eventually.
Yes, that's beautiful. You talk in the notes of F and F sharp.
Okay. And what does that mean?
It's a combination of Libra and Virgo. You do everything, you want everything in order. You want everybody to be okay. You want them to be emotionally okay. And you want all your ducks in a row, and you want other people to be able to do that too.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Those are like my primary aspects right there. Nailed it.
That's a little program that I did when I was a senior, 82. I was a late person going to college. But I wrote that as my senior thesis, and it's called Nano Voice, Little Voice. And that is one of the things we give away to the public so they can tell who's lying to you. Is it your family? Is it your kid? Is it your mother? Is it your politician? What's really going on? So we give away the software, and we give away all the lessons with it. And we have a big book called The Biggest Liars that we use as a textbook to tell who's lying and why they're lying and what's going on with them. So that's on our site. That's on our bioacousticsolutions.net site that they can download all of that. Or they can just write to me and I'll send it to them.
Oh, I love that. Yes, again, all of this is going to be right below if you're watching or listening, so you can go check it out at any time. I always say, for me, I get confused sometimes because I'll just look at someone, I see their aura, I see their face, I feel their energy, and I'm like, good person, bad person, not to be that simplistic about it, but I can see who I need to trust, don't trust, etc. And it seems like other people can't. And I'm always like, well, why? Why can't you see it? It seems obvious to me. And I bet this is one of those pieces that, people actually do have this somewhere inside of them where they can hear what you're hearing in some way, right? Even if they don't have this mutation, which I'd love to get back to as well, that you have in your ear, but that we have these senses that we're actually, and all we have to really do is kind of retrain to them and understand that this is within us. Do you feel like everybody has this ability?
I do. I think everybody has the ability. They just don't trust it. And this little computer program will help them trust it. Tucker Carlson says we all have a spider sense, a spidey, he calls it a spidey sense, and we just need to learn to trust it. And he was talking about that, how important is the truth. And he was talking about it right before the election.
Yeah.
Which would be a good thing to know. Which one of them's lying to you?
Oh, this is fascinating. Oh, sorry, you cut out for a second. Which one of them's lying to you? And then what did you say after that?
About which politician you should trust or not. The biggest liars, you want me to name them?
I would love that. Yes, I was going to ask you to, but I didn't want to put you on the spot if you didn't want to go there.
Liz Cheney is one of them.
Biggest liar?
Okay.
Okay.
The first ones we did when the bodies were coming back from Benghazi, remember that several years ago? And there was Obama and Hillary Clinton in the airport in the hangar, and they were saying, no, this was a film. It was nothing. It was not us. And all their voice said, absolutely, they're lying. They're covering their butts. And they sent, what was her name, Susan something, out to tell everybody that they were being truthful. She's lying. So that's a biggie.
Yeah, big liars there. I would have pegged them for liars. So what about Biden and Trump and Kamala? Do you have some assessment on them?
Kamala is all over the place. I don't think she knows what she's trying to say. She's very scattered. Same thing?
That's how I feel. She's
very scattered. After Trump got shot, his voice really changed. His voice went up into a range of omnipotence. Wow. So he really feels like this is his calling and he's being absolutely protected. But he has a strong foundation. There are some places where he's not telling the whole truth, but he's not out and out lying. So his personality has a lot to be worked on, or did. I haven't challenged him. Was Stormy Daniels, a story he was telling about her wasn't quite true. And what she was saying wasn't quite true either.
Interesting.
And there was another one where the things weren't quite true, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but he was into control. Even though he had a strong foundation, you could tell that he was not going to get off what he was saying. It was absolute for him.
Wow.
But all that's in the book. Another one is Jerry Sandusky. Remember, he was accused of molesting little boys in the locker room.
Yeah.
They got in contact with us and wanted to know if he was telling the truth. I gave him a word that he used where he wasn't telling the truth, and it was horseplay. He saw sex with little boys as horseplay, not as anything sexual. He was found guilty, and I let him know that he was going to be found guilty, and he's in that book too.
Isn't that interesting? So he maybe isn't technically lying because he believes that this is horseplay and he was horseplaying, but we consider that rape. Yes.
Yes.
Fascinating.
But his voice is in that Biggest Liar. so you can see what's going on. Obama's there. Susan Rice is there. Um, the J6 people who wrote the book 13 Hours of Benghazi, they were telling the truth.
Interesting.
So you can see, you can plug your computer in a way that you don't get any external noises. You only get what's coming through the computer. And that's all outlined in the book too, of how to do that. So people can really tell what's going on.
This is just another tool people can use in their own, I'll say, upliftment of their own discernment, right? Because ahead of time you can say, okay, based on my, analysis of this person, here's how I feel about it, here's what I think is going on, and then use a tool like this and see, does it confirm, or, and then you can maybe also sort of address your own possible biases if you were off, right? If you trust this technology, if you trust these sorts of results, then you can see like why was I wrong about this one? Where is my bias? What is it that I don't want to see or I'm not acknowledging in myself? Because that, I think, can get in people's ways too.
They can also test themselves. Like, I think I want to go interview for this job for this reason. And you look at it and there's places that are missing that'll tell you that won't fulfill you. It'll tell you what will support you. I want to date this person or this person. Which one is it? I want to go on this vacation or this one. Your voice will show you what's best for you.
Wow.
Because you can lie with your words, but you can't lie with the sounds of your voice. And we may tell people something, they probably already know it. We're just confirming it.
Yeah, I actually feel this way about my own work that I do with people. So much of the time, these messages are coming through. I'm getting them from your own soul, from your own highest self, and I'm sharing them back to you. And people are like, oh, I kind of already knew all of that. I just needed to hear it. I just needed it to come from somewhere else. And I'm like, yeah, I think we do all kind of know. Again, these are our own gifts we have. These are our own discernment we have. We're just getting less and less doubt over time. We're getting able to trust it more. And here's another really cool tool that you're giving everybody to be able to do this for free. It's very, very generous.
Because
so go ahead.
Truth is important. Absolute truth helps us develop a foundation so we know where to go and not make mistakes. And I want that for everybody.
Absolutely. Again, if I can imagine a world that was perfect, that would be a primary in it, is knowing truth, understanding truth.
But think about it. How many divorces is there going to be? How many people are going to be fired? What's going to happen first as we try to really bring the truth through for an absolute community? One of the things I've looked at is why we have a frequency. And if you look at some of Pythagoras's work, it says there's movements of the planets, and as they move, they set up a sound. And he said all the planets are concentric. Then along came Kepler a few centuries later, and he said, no, they're not concentric, they're elliptical. And that sets up also a scale of music. And he says that scale is too low for us to hear, but our soul hears it, and our cells must match it, or we get disease or stress. And when people lie, they get stressed, and that can cause disease. But you can lie to yourself, but you can't lie to this program. Oh, you can try, but it'll tell on you.
Yeah, I like it. I like being held to account. I want to know the things I'm hiding from myself personally. You're talking about if everyone got this level of honesty, this level of truth, and this understanding of it, like how many divorces and what would collapse. And I feel like we're coming into that time in the world. I don't know necessarily that it'll be exactly like what we're describing, but it feels like a lot has to fall away for what is coming into being, and what is coming into being is actually better than what has been. And I know I'm sort of jumping into maybe extreme territory here, but how do you feel about that? Or do you have any sense about this time that we're in?
Well, I could explain it by how we set up our business. Most people set up a business to make money. We set it up to help people. And I didn't realize that until we did a project for the local hospital. They had a lot of people there that had chlamydia pneumoniae, a problem with the heart sac, and they didn't know how to get rid of it. And one of the people knew me, and we helped him and his family get rid of this chlamydia pneumonia and the cough and the lack of breathing. So I went to the hospital, the head of the hospital. I said, this is what's happened here. We've treated these 17 people, and we think we can do it for more people. And this man stood up, threw down his pencil, and said, so you're telling me how to lose my stockholders' money?
Oh.
And I went, wrong door here.
Yeah.
And I just backed out of the place. I didn't know hospitals were built to make money. I thought they were there to help people. And I see that in a lot of businesses, that people are there because they're greedy, because they want the money. It's not an issue with people, and people think you're dumb if you people. So one of the ladies early on said to me, if it's free, what good is it? And I was giving away this computer program so they could see what the truth was. We've been giving it away since the early 80s, and we give it away to the world. Maybe we can have your vision come true.
Yeah. It's really interesting. And I've found too that people, like you said, if it's free, consciously, subconsciously, maybe both, we've been in the system so long that they think that means worthless. And there might even be people listening to this who have already sort of decided, like, oh, I don't need to go look at that because if it's free, it's probably not worth anything. And you're like, no, that's actually not what determines something's value, right? It's like, what effect can it have on you? That's its value.
Well, we built this up so that now is a trial. And we have a professional version that they can buy if they want. We have a version that will help them find their perfect mate. We have a version that'll show them how, if they have a company, how to put people working together. So we've enhanced it, and they have to pay for that. For that one.
Good. You deserve something. Yes.
Because it's very extensive and it's very accurate. As you said, and I just did yours because I'm looking at yours on the computer here as we talk.
That's amazing. I just understand how powerful sound can be. I do sound healing myself. I also use sound healing on myself, especially through vowel intonation and chanting and mantras. And I also, before I met you, I was talking with, oh gosh, now I'm going to forget his name right on the spot here, but he does David Oates. He does backward voice analysis.
Yes.
And so you listen to the speech backwards. Do you know David Oates?
Yes.
Okay, so there's another type of sound, sort of informational assessment analysis tool. And, sound, like you said, is associated with the planets and their orbits. It's like the universe is built on frequency, and sound is one of these tools, and we all have it here. Why shouldn't we use it? And it's just amazing that you've developed this technology and that people can access it. I do want to show them your site here for a second. This is the Sound Health Portal. And it looks right here, you could just record your voice and do a little analysis, it looks like, right off the bat. Is that true?
Yes, we have over 300 templates. We put out about 6 a month. One of the ones that we're doing this month is weight management. Like, people don't understand why they're gaining weight. And we're able to break that down for them and give them a report right from the computer.
Oh, I love this. So this is actually, here I have this pulled up as well. Weight management report instructions. So everyone who's listening could actually do this as well. And is this free?
It's free.
Wow. So they can go on to soundhealthportal.com and they can get involved in this weight management and get their own report and see, I'm going to do this. I've been struggling with weight for many years now. I have a thyroid disorder, actually, which I wanted to also ask you about. Maybe in a second here, we can talk about thyroids, since they're so central to the topic of sound and voice. But there's this whole free packet of information you get on how to understand the analysis that you're going to take if you do this weight management program. And this is just this month, right? Do you do different programs from month to month?
Yes, we did corona, we did gout, we did heart, we did fertility. So you can request something other than they're offering. Like damage from corona is called subsequent factors. Okay. And so you can see how, if you've had corona or the shots, you can see how it affected you. But thyroid is one of the things that helps keep your body heated. So we have a program called thermogenesis. So if you have trouble keeping warm, your nose gets cold, your fingers do, we would run you through thyroid and look at your T2, T3, T4, and look at thermogenesis then and see what's causing your body not to burn the fat, which might be bile salts, or your liver might be clogged. And so it breaks that down in 20 different sections. And we did this for over 1,000 people looking at their vocal print. And the number one issue for not losing weight is toxicity.
Yeah.
Are you toxic with glyphosate or pesticides? What is going on there? So our next article, number 4, is the 4th article. It's going to be a map. Where is your fat laying down? That's the biochemical that's probably in stress in your body. Like people who have fat under their upper arms, it's adiponectin. And that's one of the biochemicals that tells your body to burn fat.
Oh, wow.
So we're trying to help them identify what's going on, and then they can take that information and do something with it.
So maybe we've already touched on this. I'm just going to touch on it again because it sounds really important that people understand. They could be getting sounds from you that they then listen to, and that's part of the treatment. They could also be getting suggestions on, for example, what supplements to take or what food to be eating or what to maybe cut out. Is that right?
Or what tests they should run with their conventional doctors. We use conventional medicine to confirm what we already know.
Mm.
And I'll give you an example of something that I think saved my life.
Yeah.
I was having trouble breathing, and my throat was sore and I couldn't breathe. And it was Sunday night after Christmas, and I got fearful that that's just going to close off and I'm not going to be able to breathe. So I went to the emergency room and I said, my throat is sore. I am having trouble breathing. And it also showed on my vocal print that there was stress in my throat. They decided that I was having an allergic reaction. I actually had strep throat, and they let it go so long that it evolved a valve in my heart. So they didn't know what they were doing. And I was able to confirm it through vocal analysis and go to my local doctor instead of the emergency room, and she finally confirmed it. Another one that just happened over Thanksgiving is I was climbing up a very large motorhome stairs, and I don't know what happened. Next thing I know, I'm flying through the air and I landed on my head.
Oh, God.
And it's still swollen up there. I went to the emergency room because it was bleeding, and I didn't know if I'd cracked my skull or what.
Right.
They gave me a Tylenol and sent me home.
God.
I had 4 broken vertebrae, a broken jaw, and they missed it totally. So
I don't trust them anymore. I mean, like before you're telling me these stories, my audience already knows I don't trust most doctors anymore because I hear this all the time because it's happened to me again and again. And I don't want to toss out all of conventional and traditional medicine. I just don't trust it. It just misses so much. It doesn't help so much. It harms so much. I feel like your technology is much safer and more appropriate and more aligned with reality and, know.
And ancient medicine. I'll give you an example where my back was broken. It was broken in T12, S1, S3, and 4 different places. And they took x-rays in December. And I started working with the sounds that we know heal bones. And by the 1st of January, they took an MRI and those bones were healed. And so in less than 30 days, the bones put themselves back together because we know the sounds. Your body is this incredible magic math matrix. And where do you fit on that matrix? Tells us what's going on with you genetically, structurally, your eyes, your throat, your digestion, everything. It's just there. We are math-based carbon individuals. Just like you can take your car in and plug it in, it says, oh, your carburetor's out or something. We can do the same thing with somebody's vocal print, and our our need is for you to go home at night and say, "Hello, house, I'm home." And it'll say, "Oh, your vitamin A is stressed. Let's have some carrot soup."
Yes.
So I
Well,
want
this
that
is
for every household.
this is the thing I'm also inviting my audience to do more of lately, because I think it's crucial now more than ever that we imagine technology in its highest role and its highest ability to serve us, and so that we're putting our imaginative energy into this, and that we're inviting that future towards us instead of one that is less serving of us and less empowering of our personal freedom. So to imagine something like what you just said is exactly what I'm talking about. That you have a house, and it's not a smart house necessarily in the way that some people mean it. It is a smart house in that it loves you and it wants the best for you, and it's going to tell you what you might not be noticing about yourself and assist you in the things that you already choose for yourself. I love that. What a beautiful vision.
And I want to pass that on. I would like to train more people in this. I'm 78 years old this year, and I just really need to pass this on to everybody.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on reaching level 78. And maybe there's people listening to this right now who are feeling called to that, that feel like, wow, this is really important technology. I want to learn more about it. I know we're mostly talking about how they can access this and use it for themselves, but you said there's ways for people to come and get trained and become like a practitioner in this area.
Absolutely. We have a 5-day course that they can do online, and we have trainers who teach that. And the next one's in February. And then I teach businesses and organizations to do this based on when they have time. Can they only do it on Sunday evening? I will have a class with their organization and teach them to do this.
That's really powerful and very cool. And I also know there's so many people out there who feel like they want to be part of the solutions. They want to be part of sort of, the way that the world we're hoping it goes, we're intending that it goes. And they don't necessarily feel like they have some sort of gift or some sort of, you know what I mean? This is the type of thing, though, that is exactly in alignment with, I think, our highest visions and what we're hoping for. So it's something that anybody can do. And I'd say if you do feel called to it, that you should probably be looking into this. It's very cool. I see here that you have a PTSD. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
We start people for free so they can make sure that this is what they want to do. And then they just gradually move upward. But even with the free classes, they can do work with people with nutrition and muscles. They can start charging people for these reports. So we try to make it as easy as possible. They have to buy a microphone, and they're on sale at Amazon, $29 this week.
Easy.
And if they have a computer, they can start it. We give them the software and the education for them to start this in their community.
Oh, I love that. It's really cool. And I love too that it's so clearly involved with a scientific understanding of the world. It's not, I'm always looking at the sort of spectrum from like the woo-woo to the like very materialist, and I love where they meet. I love that you are this bridge, like I said in the intro, between these worlds. And I just think this is exactly a middle path sort of example of that. I'm recognizing here this PTSD TBI part of the soundhealthportal.com. I have PTSD. Is that usually associated with traumatic brain injury, or are they just connected in how they present in people?
They can be connected. PTSD can also be done separately. We did this for the Army, for people who went into the Army and got blasted with these, what do you call them? They explode in the ground. And they wanted to know how they could fix people whose brain was subjected to that. And we found 8 different biochemicals that were affected. There is a video about this for you to learn it on your own. It's under Vimeo, Vimeo, and it's under my name, Sharry Edwards. There's about 500 educational videos there under Vimeo, Sharry Edwards.
And I see them here now. And Sharry, just for anyone who's just listening, is Sharry. So Sharry Edwards.
Yeah, they can remember that my birth name is Sharon.
Oh, Sharon, there you go. That makes sense.
They can remember it that way. But there's about 500 videos, from allergies to the perfect mate to PTSD, how sound is really part of our relationship with other people. We're attracted to people who have the sound we have missing.
Oh, wow. That makes so much sense. I see that on the soul level, the exact same thing. I'm like, this person has what you need and you have what they need, and you're perfect in that way.
And you can interpret it as sound, as color, as aroma, as emotion, however your body wants to perceive what's happening with you.
That makes so much sense. So let's jump back. I want to ask you about COVID. I know you have videos here on it. I know it's here on the soundhealthportal.com. You have a COVID button. What, if anything, is COVID in your opinion, or what was it?
We established in December of 2019 that it was man-made because it did not match any mathematical formula for any virus or pathogen we had ever seen. And it's just taking them, 4 years to catch up with us. We have the math. We know it's going to mess up glutathione, which is the immune system, zinc, iron. It's all there. We have a whole section, a whole tab. It's called either Corona, which is the first name they had for COVID, or COVID. It's a tab, fundamentals. And there's 4 or 5 different articles in there. We give people the frequencies for the spike proteins, and we give them a way to check their voice for the spike proteins in those articles.
Oh, perfect. And what about the injection? What comes through about that?
That it's deliberately to mess up our body's ability to create energy.
Oh, wow. So at the what would that have to do with our mitochondria? Because it seems like everyone's mitochondria is failing.
Yes, if they go into our database, they can look at cellular inflammation. That's one of them that really gets messed up. And they can look at COVID. They can have their voice tested against COVID. COVID fundamentals, COVID subsequent factors is where they can test their voice. How have they been affected? Because when you look at this in geographic locations, there are things happening in Maine that aren't happening in Texas. So I think with COVID people, I think they used these shots and they gave people different shots in different geographic locations. And I think it was just a test to see what they could do.
Yeah, to see what they're capable of. So people are suffering in various different ways. I have seen this too. And then did you get any information on people who did not receive the injection but seem to have effects from it? So shedding and that sort of thing?
Yes. And we find very few people who haven't been influenced. Maybe people off by themselves someplace where they haven't been around other people. But the people that are most sick are the ones that have had the shots.
Yeah.
Their whole metabolism, their whole mitochondria, their cellular function has been depressed.
It's really, I mean, this is the core of your body. You know, we learn it, we joke about it, even say the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, but it really is the powerhouse of the cell, and your whole body depends on your mitochondrial health. And so if they're attacking us at this level, it's a very profound level of attack. And so do you also have resources to address this?
Have them run coronavirus, and that'll show them the spike proteins and all that. Subsequent factors they can run. We even give them a link to a frequency generator they can use, because frequency generators online are all digital, and the stuff with corona, it's pathogenic. So it's critters, and it's all about digital, kills the critters. But if they can look at Krebs cycle, mitochondria, the body will tell them what they need to look at.
Are you saying there's frequency generators that are analog?
Ours are analog because we have learned that analog will build back the body. It sounds impossible, but we've helped people build back or detached retina. When you look at the guy that had the motorcycle accident, It built back the meat on his leg. People who had operations. Oh, one of them that we're really sorry about is built back a vasectomy.
Oh, you're like, well, I mean, life begets life. What are you going to do?
So we got blamed for that.
Hey, that's pretty miraculous. And it's pretty high praise for the work that you're doing. Again, fans of my show will know that analog is one of my key. Sorry, it's in my tagline, even for the show, is analog, electric, concentric wisdom. And I find it really fascinating that you have a frequency generator that is analog. I would love to have one of those. So this would be the type of thing that you could just have around, and it's just kind of working as you're, going about life. Is that correct?
Yeah, they can put it on headphones, or they can put it on a speaker. We have things like relief of gout pain. Now, we can't say we cure gout pain. We can say we cure stress of gout pain. But we have leaky gut. We have restless legs. They're individual tone boxes. Like the tone I used to build back my broken bones, that's a generalized thing, even for animals who've broken bones. Though that particular frequency set will mend a bone in record time.
Wow. So is this the part of the site where people would go to find something like that? I've went to products on all products.
It might be there. It's on the portal. You could also look at Bioacoustic Solutions, which is our professional site for professionals who want to do this. And I think some of the specialty tone boxes are there.
Okay, so here I'm at bioacousticsolutions.net.
Yes, this is a professional one.
Okay.
And this has a lot of our articles I read for Masters of Health every month.
Aha. Oh, this is perfect. There's the tone boxes.
There's the restless legs.
Oh, yeah, restless legs. Teeth integrity. I need that right now. My audience also knows I'm going through a lot of dental issues. Radical relief, pumping iron, overture. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Overture's DNA, putting it back together. The pumping iron is from Fukushima, where that really messed up people's iron.
Oh, gotcha.
Muscle Factors has 400 and some muscles in it. We ask people to just play it overnight, and it'll work your muscles as you're sleeping.
Wow.
This is a little back box of people who have low back pain. Like people with restless legs usually have L4 and L5 in stress. Gout out, that just takes care of the gout pain. It releases it. What does that one say? Front to back. Oh, that's people who have a big belly, and it's causing their, it's usually from pesticides.
Okay.
Laying down, there's a pesticide, and the body builds fat around it because it can't deal with it right now. And it stores that fat, and mostly for pesticides, it's on the stomach. So if you got a big belly, and it can be hard or soft, lipase will make it soft again. Lipase is just a digestive enzyme for carbohydrates. So
it's fascinating. Yeah, this is one of those things that I talk about, and I don't know that everyone understands it yet, that our fat is also a response. Again, our body's not trying to hurt us or make us feel bad about ourselves or anything, and it's not always because you just eat too much or something. It's often because you have too many toxins, and this is how your body stores them because it can't really release them. I wonder too, if people who have some really big bellies and that's like you said, the I'm just forgetting the word, even though you just said it to me. But glyphosate and the like, if that can come from drinking, right? If we're drinking alcohol, that's really heavily laden with some of these toxins. They're just pumping it out. They don't really care about people's health. So, I mean, all of our food has this, but I was just thinking alcohol may have a higher concentration of things like pesticides and glyphosate.
Yeah, glyphosate really messes up your B vitamins.
Oh, what's FaceTime continuum?
That's for the muscles in your face.
Okay. Fab abs.
That's for people who want a flat stomach.
And Charlie Chaser.
We built that for athletes who have problems with muscle cramps.
Oh, okay.
Wonder why it's a cat stretching. I wonder why they don't have the image in there.
It's just got somehow misplaced by the site. What is Myalis?
It's like Cialis, only it's for women.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Intimate times improved. And Pythagoras, last tone I'll ask you about.
It's because he has a different scale for music. Like he has 432 based on your note of A.
Okay.
And music today is based on 440. And we think the church took out that 432 because it's more of a healing scale.
Yeah. Have you heard this idea, since we're talking about tones and frequencies and all of this, that that was part of what the architecture used to do for us? We see these old spires and all this beautiful, some people call it antiquitech, and that kind of brought down energy and sound, and the organs we had built into buildings were also part of this, and people would come together maybe for group healing. And do you have any thoughts on that?
Absolutely. When I visited the Mormon Tabernacle in Utah, you could stand way in the back and almost whisper, and people on stage could hear you. They knew about this ancient architecture and that each shape is a frequency. Like round is the note of C. It's all in our textbooks about the ratios of the sounds and what they do in which organ. And things that you just showed, people can download flyers, folders, posters of which muscle is involved in what part of the healing the organs.
Oh, wow. It's so interesting to me. Everything is connected. Like one nerve will be with one tooth, will be with one organ and one sound and one color, and not just one, they can kind of overlap sometimes too, but there's just, it's such an intricate, beautiful system we have here, and sound is such a beautiful way to interact with it. It's almost like we can receive information from ourselves via the sound. We can also give the information back in via listening or receiving these pure tones from these boxes and these sorts of therapies.
It's all based on numbers, and numbers don't lie.
Numbers do not lie. So on a maybe personal note, or maybe you have some professional input on this too, there's this whole debate about, are we in a matrix? Are we in a trap? Is this all fake? What's the deal here? I know how I feel about it. Do you have feelings you want to share about it?
I think in the beginning, there was a math matrix, and you can describe that as God. I think all sentientness in one pot is God. Yeah. And we just need to match the song, to match the tones. And that's why people come to us to get a tune-up.
Tune-up is right. I love it.
And I think we could be more perfect. We could be less diseased if we could just teach everybody to pay attention to that.
Absolutely. It's also in itself just what you just said, to pay attention to that, just this act of increasing your self-awareness and your intention towards yourself is also beautiful form of self-care. No matter what you think, right? Your logical brain might be going, I don't know, I'm having a hard time with all of this. But just that is also very valuable. And so that's a beautiful side effect, at least, of all of what you're doing.
When you look at some of Brian Butterworth's work, and he's written some books about math and the brain, he has proven we are hardwired for math. Even babies and animals are hardwired for math. It's brilliant work. I think God must have been a mathematician.
It sounds like it. It weirded me out at first because I love math. I do have a very logical side of myself, as you hit on with the Virgo energy. And, I love science and all of these things. But on my spiritual side, I didn't expect to see at the highest level what looks to me like pure mathematical code. More beautiful and intricate than I could ever comprehend, I think. But at the highest levels of what I can sense spiritually, that's what I see and what it looks like. And I just didn't, that blew me away. I see, right? It's not what I expected at all. And when I describe it to people, I think they feel slightly uncomfortable about it. But I just say that's not in any way an indication you're in some sort of weird technological prison. It's an indication you're in the most beautifully crafted, intentional space that could have been created. You get to play in this wonderland here. I think that's a beautiful thing.
And it's a frequency. It's math, but it's also a frequency of energy. And if you look at the Bible code, it takes the first 5 books of the Bible and puts it in one string. And there's a computer program about this. You could do 100 strings horizontal, 100 vertical, and you can mix it up all different ways. And it has in there the wars that we were in, Kennedy's death, Princess Diana. It lists 6 times. And that's important to know.
Yeah.
I was almost afraid of this until a guy who wrote a book about the Bible code sent me proof that the words that we are using is in the Bible code. My name as Sharry is in the Bible code.
Wow.
And I thought from that perspective, from that ancient knowledge, I'm supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be doing this and bringing people forward. Yes, my ears are mutated. My voice is mutated. So I'm a mutant, but I don't seem like one. I seem pretty ordinary. I do my own laundry, and I want everybody to awaken that God part of them, and they can do it through the knowledge of who they are through looking at their own math matrix.
How beautifully said is that? That's really perfect. I hope that it gives people a sense of hope. I hope it gives them a sense of the mystery that they might not be able to understand yet, but feels, pulling them forward. And I hope it also gives them a sense of relief. You don't have to worry about anything, right? Everything is here for you. It's all provided for you. There's abundance everywhere. You've got all the gifts. The miracles occur, right? You were meant to be here. Like it's all good. Everybody can take a big breath.
I have a caveat to that yes. I do everything that I can help or hinder to allow a situation to help it or hinder. But if it happens anyway, I accept with grace, or try to. It's when people go against the grain that they get in trouble, or go against numbers that they get in trouble. But
yeah,
that's my life.
It's a very nuanced take, right? That you just said, like you want to help everything you can that you find to be good, true, and beautiful. You want to hinder whatever seems inappropriate or like it's not what you want in the world. And at the same time, know that things also just happen, or they happen the way that they're going to happen, and that you just then move on with them. You're struggling against the inevitable. There's no point to it. It's not the same as doing nothing. It's not the same as giving up. It's not the same as hopelessness. It's acceptance.
But they have to be a part of the program. They just can't lay back and say whatever happens is okay.
Yes, I think that's part of the reason we're here, is to make decisions and to see what happens with them, and then to develop ourselves in response, right, to the choices that we've made, to keep actualizing all of that aspect of self.
I'll caution people though, that whatever they find in their voice, it's okay, it's perfect. It's what they do about it that makes a difference.
That is also well said. Okay, Sharry, I know we could probably talk forever because you're fascinating. Your work is fascinating. What you're offering people is fascinating. But let's remind them before we do go today. We've got soundhealthportal.com. There's so many tools here. There's free. You can do online voice analysis. You can record your voice. You can get reports. You can join the different campaigns. You can check out the current campaign of the weight management that's going on. We've also got your Vimeo. If you want to just go search Vimeo for Sharry Edwards, Sharry, Sharry Edwards. And there's also the bioacousticsolutions.net. All of that and more is just below wherever you're watching or listening, for you to click on. Is there anything else I missed you want to share with people? Where to go or what to do?
Sound Health Options is our public site, and that has a lot of free classes and information. What we need right now is trainers and teachers and people who want to open these bioacoustic centers to help people. I think our health is in crisis, and there are people who want it to stay in crisis, and we want to help people help themselves.
Oh, it's so beautiful. And you've already shared so much beauty and so many poignant words. Is there anything you want to say in closing tonight to everybody?
Just thank you for allowing us to share.
Oh, we're so grateful for you. And fellow travelers of the path, it is a beautiful thing. And this has been your analog electric concentric dose of wisdom according to the voice analysis and sound healer, Sharry Edwards. Sharry, thank you for being here and being you.
It was awesome. Thank you.
Well, the universe is a thing of frequency, and until we understand it as such, we will only be pawing through the dark without a light. It is long past time we took seriously the abilities we have to naturally and easily restore health via harmony of the frequencies of our bodies, minds, hearts, and souls. And until you trust your voice, travel well, aim for balance, and always look inside first. Mwah.
Motherfucker unknown. Yeah, come on. In the place with my fist up, meaning I resist the bullshit that they feed us and lead us. This is just a part of the process, man. Just watch this, cause this shit's about to get crazy like a mosh pit. We lost it, toss it, let's start it again. Cause now with technology, with smarter men and women, this is the beginning, not the end. If this is the message of hope that I send, look on your TV, it's a culture of death. They'll keep on lying to the very last breath. We keep on striving and spreading the truth. It's hard to survive in this world for the youth. The door is closed, the old world is dead. Let's have an age of understanding instead. I'll include you and you include me. Let's see what we can build with some positivity. Let's go, you're moving too slow. Let me see your hands if you know what I know. Come on.
Rap like mummy, ain't no dummy in my rhyming. Started flowing freestyling, now they rhyming loud silence. On with the violence, bodies piling with the gray-bearded pirate. On your TV in 4K 3D virtual reality. Casualty of urban warfare. I know but I'm not scared, just prepared and aware. Shining my light through the tunnel of hope. Into the rope, but I'ma give it one more pull. Till the family is full. Take the bull by the horns and lead it to the slaughter. That would be harder and you would be softer. Sometimes I'm a monster, and you forever imposter, with your champagne and lobster. This royalty, the way it was supposed to be. Hopefully the new door opens and the old one closes, with way more focus and growth to mold us, and the truth that they should have told us.
To them screens, it's a plot to drop the IQ. Fighting amongst each other over rulers that don't like you. Prefer us trapped in melancholy with the wood wands of holly. Suggestions that obliterate to camouflage the folly. Attempted mental robbery, executed sloppily. The paupers see this mockery and walk the talk with me. Put the hands up to touch the Akasha, cause you know deep down there's something bigger than your wallet. Everyone got a gift, everyone got a light. They want you to forget that ish, cause they can't dim the bright. The positive vibration takes you past the sign shackles, from the sewers and the alleys in the moving castles. Who these assholes really serving with an exposed Achilles surgeon around the corner lurking to prove ascension trumps perversion? Learn them to catch fish and unplug the signal. Show them the simpletons now build the fucking temples.